Now, it's hard to believe this, isn't it? Of course, one of my favourite royals, Her Royal Highness, the Princess Royal, Princess Anne, being difficult. Well, that's the way it's being played out over here, literally in the media. But what I will tell you, of course, is once again the inner secrets of what I know and exactly the story behind this particular story. As ever, let me explain. Hi, morning. Nice to see you. Thank you so much as ever for your time, and thank you truly for your support on the recent video regarding the lost gem of a theatre that's been closed now for many years. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's lovely discovering things like that, isn't it? Because as I say, when you see all of these major stars that have appeared there in this wonderful theatre, and they've gone up and down that road in the side stage door, and you kind of think, wow, it's just memories, you know. Thankfully, of course, we live in an age where there are, old posters and still pictures. I love the picture of Laurel and Hardy meeting a very young fan backstage in the 1950s. Can never be recreated again. And you know, the joy in those two little boys' faces meeting their comedy heroes really says it all, doesn't it? You know, and to discover that literally was just wonderful. But again, you know, lovely that you like them, and I'm so glad. I'm happy to share them with you. It really is nice. I'm happy to share this story with you as well. No need to say it, as everybody knows, I love Princess Anne. Absolutely cracking lady, you know what I mean? I'll tell you a funny story. I don't know if I've ever told you this one before, but it was a funny thing that really made me laugh. On one of the occasions she came to the studio, you know, for an interview, for another program, in fact. And what was interesting about it was, you know, she came in, no nonsense. I think just one person with her, in fact, not a big, you know, entourage or anything. And I was making her a cup of tea and everything. And when you go into the sort of green room, and when you go in, of course, you know, you're supposed to knock, but because it's my studio, I sort of barged in, and everybody sort of looked round, and I just said, she was sat in the makeup chair with a lady doing her makeup, and I said, oh, sorry, I said, I didn't realise you were getting your slap done. I'm really sorry about that, right? So I put the tea down, and, you know, we sort of had a few words and whatever. Went back outside, sat at the main reception desk, just waiting for the interview, and she came through, and she said, oh, by the way, you know, which way's the ladies? And I said, she said, and is the slap all right? Just brilliant, you know, so down to earth and everything like that. I said, you look fine, Mum. I said, but you might want to check it yourself. She just giggled, and I just thought, what a lovely lady. Now, this picture that's now emerged, of course, it is of her husband, Sir Tim Lawrence, who, you know, let's send our warmest wishes out to, because he must be very worried, of course. It's always terrible, isn't it, when a loved one has an accident and then you have to go through all that. Your world stops, doesn't it? It literally stops, because everything now is focused on them, and rightly so. But of course, the media picked up on the fact that there he was, Sir Tim Lawrence, turning up at the hospital to see his wife, bringing a cool bag. And now a cool bag, if you don't know, and I'm not being rude, it's a thing where you put food in and it keeps it cool, you know. So if you've got sort of salads and stuff like that, it's like a picnic basket, we call it, but a little bit more insulated today. As I say, I'm not being, you know, sort of rude. I don't know what half of these things are. People have explained them to me, and you think, oh, right, is that why it's so much then, you know? But what's interesting about this is everybody's saying, isn't the hospital food good enough for the Princess Royal? Let me tell you, when I've worked with various events with the Princess Royal, like at the Savoy and things, even there she has her own lunch brought. She doesn't have brought, but it's, you know, with her in the car, and she just prefers to eat her own food. And you know, she said, look, she's such a finicky eater that she just prefers it. Then there's no, can I have it like this? Then you're not being difficult, the chef has to redo it, whatever. And the whole point of that is she's not spurning hospital food at all. And obviously if she wants to eat her own thing and she knows what she feels best eating and what she fancies, what's wrong with that? It's less pressure on the NHS, isn't it? But of course the media try and twist that round, and I really thought it was important to, you know, explain that to you, because I just think it's so unkind when they try and do that, and it's nothing to do with that absolutely at all. It's simply on, I remember at the Savoy that she literally had just a small piece of you know, poached salmon and some salad. That was it. And she said, well, that's all I really like at lunchtime, something really light, you know, and that was it. Everybody else had this big, you know, quite sort of full-on meal, and I understood that if she's got other engagements, you don't want to feel full and slowed down, do you? So that is the story behind that, and forgive me if you think, oh, it's not important. It is. She's not spurning the NHS. She's simply sticking to her own, well, some might say, rather splendid diet. She looks terrific, don't you think? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.